So we just got done skating again. I skipped a day in between, but 2 days back, 5 miles, and both kicked my ass. Might be a little ways off before I can squeeze another 21 in. I was wanting to do that before the end of 2024, and it did not end up happening for various reasons, but now I'm definitely gonna have to build back up to it since I had that 3-week break in there. Ended at 555 calories though, so that's kind of cool. And at one point I checked my phone and my pace was 11 minutes 11 seconds. So my numbers again. I kicked my ass, to be honest. I feel so out of practice. Me and the dogs walked like, I think it was 1 3/4 miles today, and that was good. It was over at the park that's got a whole bunch of snow on the ground right now still, so that kind of is not my favorite. Taz loves it. He loves snow way more than I would have thought when we were moving up here from Alabama, but Gidget likes it too, and Ziva I don't think cares for the most part, but at the same time she's got the shortest hair, so she's a little less gung-ho about it, I guess. But it was like 45 degrees, so it's kind of melting off, but yeah. I was thinking this morning that I had a couple start points that, it was all about. And now that I'm sitting here with my camera out, it's like, I don't, I don't know. All that struggling to skate made my brain tired. So one thing, as per the norm, yesterday I started a video kind of in the middle of a story and wandered off from it and didn't go back to it at all. And it was fine, but it was kind of funny because I mentioned it later in the video that I have the tendency to wander off and not finish stories once I get rolling onto something else. And it's like, oh, hey, I did that there. And okay, so it wasn't really the point. The story wasn't like a big deal anyway. It was just something to talk about or to start with. And it was the deal with my uncle asking about if my brother and his wife and Gracie were all going on the cruise here in a couple weeks. And the big thing on that whole deal was my mom did, in fact, pick up on my aversion to saying anything. And that night, she had asked me, the glory of having to live back at home right now. She did ask me that night about it. And how was it she said? Oh, she said, they are still planning on us watching her, aren't they? And I don't know how I responded. What was it? Something along the line of, I was trying to be evasive. The whole point of it, I realized yesterday, it's like, first off, it annoyed the crap out of me that she was coming to me to ask about this thing, where we've had mornings where we'll have Gracie and we'll be taking her to school, and we'll have her dad on the phone, and my mom will sit there silently because she's not talking to my brother. So at any point she could have gotten over that and asked him about it, but I think it was just because something with my uncle had said something about it, so then she wanted to get information from me about it, and I had decided, I told my brother a long time ago, it's like, that's on you. You gotta figure out talking to her about that. Of course, the aggravating part was he drug his feet about it. And the even more aggravating part was that I ended up getting sucked into it, even though I was trying to stay out of it, and then it just pissed me off. Because my mom tried to pull me back into it on asking me questions when she was still not speaking to my brother. And then yesterday, what day are we? Is it? I think it's Tuesday. Yeah, so yesterday, Monday, after I said something to him about our mother having asked about the trip, he finally sent a message saying that they were taking her with them. So yesterday, okay, my dad said cool, and then there's like one other thing. I don't know what he said, but he's kind of not real nice when Gracie's around, so he's probably thrilled to death that she's not going to be staying with us for that week and a half or whatever. But my mom never said anything, because he sent it in the group text, so we could he sends the statement that they are taking her with them on the cruise, and then sends me a message in our chat saying, now we wait. And I wasn't even out of bed yet, so it's just like, oh boy. Stuff. Great. So Mom never said anything until last night. I was sitting at my desk, actually watching the video that I did yesterday to make sure it was whatever. I checked it out, so I know what I talked about and have something to call it and all that fun stuff, and to make sure there's some kind of semblance of a point, something that makes sense. I don't know. If there wasn't, I don't know that would deter me from posting it anyway at this point, but whatever. It is what it is. So I'm trying to watch this video, and she comes into the door, and I have my desk facing the door, but I have my glasses on, so it's like, just in case, I'm just gonna like shut my whole video down, because I don't want to take the chance on her asking me something about it, because she sees my reflection of myself in my glasses. Like, even YouTube stuff, automatically gets minimized if she walks in there, or like I'll have something else that I'll switch over to. Yesterday the screen I think that I had up was talking about the Life Path 1, but it was so bright. So if she saw that, then that doesn't look YouTube-y. So yeah, so I shut that off so she doesn't ask me anything on that end. And she does the normal thing, comes in there, and like, I always know how it's going to, or the general point of the thing, and she got her feelings hurt or some shit, but she said at one point that she's not happy with the situation with my brother. And I was like, okay. And I said there are two of you, or at least two of you involved in that particular issue. Kind of three, since his wife, he has his wife as well. But it's like, that's between you two. I'm not getting in the way of that. And she was talking about she's not happy with it. And I was like, so talk to him. Well, then he doesn't talk to her either. It's like, well, neither one of you are doing it. You're both avoiding each other like the plague, and like that's going to do anything, but then nothing gets established on that, right? And one of the things she says is that she's always appreciated that me and my brother are close. She's always been really happy about that. It's like, I said, that's interesting because it definitely does not feel that way. And I think I distracted her from her point on where she was going at that point in time. And I said, it feels like if we have a conversation, we're supposed to report back and basically fill her in on what the other person said. And I don't think she appreciated that. But she also couldn't deny it. We got sidetracked into something else, and then she was dealing with their laundry and said something to my dad in the other room, and then came back and says, "You didn't let me finish." It's like, you walked away. What wasn't finished? And she said, the point was, she always appreciated that me and my brother were close, but sometimes she feels like she can't do anything without him knowing everything that's going on. It's like, that's not entirely true. Now, the big stuff that gets thrown at me, I'm going to report that stuff back to him. Mainly because, okay, like the deal with the cruise coming up, and it's basically, this is a thing, deal with it. And yeah, so she was taking it personally on that end, and then my brother said something about, so she feels like you're doing recon or whatever. It's like, I don't feel like it's completely wrong, and this really irritates the shit out of me now that I'm thinking about it, because I realized the issue on connecting with my parents and how that's been an issue. And then it was like, in an attempt to have my brother as an ally on this whole thing, it somewhere shifted to doing the same dumb shit for him that we were raised to have to do for her. It's like, this is some funky shit, y'all. It's like, I think it goes to that point of, what you do to somebody else is done right back to you, kind of a thing. And it's like, you see it one way and you start shifting it that way, but then it's like, it comes back to that whole finger pointing at you thing, right? So it's like, hey, you're doing it again. It's like, son of a bitch. And it snuck up on me because I was trying to get my brother to kind of wake up to the shit that's going on too. And there was that, but then at some point it just kind of shifted, and then it's like, well, this fucking sucks. Now I gotta figure that out again too. It's like, y'all figure out your own shit out. I'm done talking to both of you. Not completely done talking to them both, or to either of them. But, yeah. I have to be more mindful of paying attention to what's going on, so I don't just go along with it again and then find myself stuck in the middle of it and like, how did I even get here? Because that kind of pissed me off when I realized that. It's like, yeah, I mean, there's moments where it's like, I almost kind of caught onto it, and then, wandered off with something else, and then it's like completely gone again, and it's like, son of a bitch. And there's, okay, the venting thing about the bear. I don't feel bad about that. But one thing that kind of annoyed me, I guess, after that was that, he told his wife what I'd said about, how our parents kind of tried to hijack the moment. And she was talking all big, bragging about the whole thing and going on and on and on about all this stuff. It's like, we don't have to go above and beyond on this thing because that just feels forced too. And it's like, I appreciate the sentiment, but there's an element of it that's like, well, your mom's the problem, so here, let me fix this. It's like, no. So I'm really glad that I took it to the class that week and, shared it with them, because then it was like completely, didn't feel like something was riding on it with everybody. Everybody was able to be happy for me and let it be that, rather than I'm happy for you, but let me pull you over to my side further, kind of a thing. It's like, this shit is not cool. I don't like it. I really got to figure out a new situation. And, like, I was thinking about it last night too. It's like, on the one hand, I was really glad when they mentioned that if they go somewhere, they would extend the invite that I could go along with them. So I had something as a possibility of a way to get out of that situation sooner than, I was previously thinking. Because before it's like, I'm stuck. How do I get out of this? And once they posed the possibility of going along with them, then it's like, okay, maybe. But it was able to at least get my wheels turning and make me realize that the universe does have ways, right? And sure, this is a possible thing, but, I know she's not happy with her job here, and he's currently not able to work like he was. And there's just so much going on that they are looking. But I feel, especially after that deal yesterday, it's like, I don't think that would necessarily be the way to go either. It's like, I got to figure out how to manifest my way into a much better situation where I don't have to worry about anybody kind of sneakily playing me on the down low as well. Because I just totally getting caught up on one side of things and then overlooking the others. And it's like, well, shit, now here I am again, back in the same damn situation, but it's different because who's pissed is slightly, I don't know. Maybe I just don't talk to any of them. Which I can't do that either. I mean, first off, I live with my parents, so I'm stuck there. But then also, because, I'm talking to my brother about the stuff with Gracie and getting a regular thing. We have a system figured out, so, as far as actually communicating without having it become something to feel guilty about in any kind of way, because that was always my mom's approach, was, you're going to have to talk to me about the kid, so I can use that as an opportunity to make you feel bad for not going to Grandpa's funeral all over again. And of course, one of the big things was, yes, my mom lost her dad in December. Jen lost her mom in April. In April, when Jen's mom died, my parents kind of hijacked that whole thing, and oh my God, that was an ordeal too. So Mom had said over and over again, when she's getting ready to go, give me a call and I'll come get Gracie. So she's not there in the middle of it. And that was always the plan. Well, when she was getting ready to go, Jen's brother and his girlfriend, fiance, wife, whatever they came from Oklahoma to have one last time with her, right? And to be there for when she died. Well, they called the hospice nurse and she wasn't able to get there right away. But my aunt used to be a hospice nurse and she still has all her credentials or whatever to do whatever is necessary. So because the other one couldn't get there, they called my aunt to have her come in and be there. And my aunt took my uncle along because that's useful. It was at least a distraction on the Gracie end. Since they were already there, my aunt asked if they wanted her to take, or they wanted them to take her with them so she wasn't in the middle of it. And they said yes. So they took Gracie, and then I don't know if my aunt told my mom that she had her or how all that came about, but mom got her feelings hurt because Beth had Gracie instead of her being called to get Gracie. And then my dad swoops in to play the hero and, get after my brother and sister-in-law because they really hurt her feelings. And this is like, I'm wanting to say within minutes of the lady finally passing away. So, yeah, that was a whole thing. And my sister-in-law's mom, I guess, she was like a couple weeks older than my grandma, my mom's mom. My mom's line, well, at least my mom and my grandma and my great-grandma and all of them, they started early on the having children thing, so my mom was 19 when she got married, 20 when she had my brother, and 22 when she had me. And my grandma and grandpa, well, they were pregnant at the point where they got married because, of course, then they had to make it right. I've talked about that on here too. That the grandkids were all kind of like, whoa, somebody was doing something they shouldn't have been, because we were always made to feel like there are some things that are really, really bad and you should never do. And, they're above those things, and then turn around and find out that they also did those things. It's like, hey, we caught you in, on this point, and yeah, I don't even know what, they've been married like 50 years when this even came out. So it's like, what the hell? Who even cares anymore? But at the same time, we thought it was hilarious. And my one cousin that's not around, he randomly called me a few years ago because he'd just put it together, and I don't know how he missed it from that conversation, but he probably just wasn't there and just didn't get filled in on it. But yeah, like, he called me at one point. He says, I kind of feel like I should call them and congratulate them. It's like, dude, it's always been the case. It's like some of us just caught onto it later. Way later, because they were in denial, right? They never did no wrong. Whatever. Yeah. So anyway, Jen's mom, I think Jen's older brother is like 8.5 years older, I think. And, so mom's always been saying, well, that she was a change of life baby. So, her mom's a little older than my mom, blah, 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 whatever. Anyway, so on that point, they were both up there. Jen's mom and mom's dad. But mom basically ran over the top of that whole thing, made it about feeling sorry for herself and trying to guilt my brother into feeling bad because they hadn't done what they were supposed to And they got out of line with this other thing. It's like, just the way things came together. Shit happens, right? But yeah, it's forever. They chose to send her with my aunt over my mom, and then when my grandpa was in the hospital, I've said on here many times, that was kind of the whole real big disappointment thing for me and my brother. And it's like when we really fully embraced being disappointments to our mother, because we did not care enough about him being in the hospital as we should have, according to her. And I was there more than my brother. So the automatic inclination is to blame his wife, because she is the problem. The irony is they're so much alike that's really a big part of it right there. They just, massive royal clash on that end. They even share the same birthday. And it's kind of funny because there are pictures where I think my sister-in-law looks more like my mom than I do. So, yeah, that's a whole thing. But, yeah. Either way, they butt heads a lot. A lot. And that's a big-ass bird. I don't know if it's a crow or what it is, but I don't know. Let's see if I can. If I turn my phone around, he's probably going to disappear, because that's what always happens. I really want to know what it is, though. He's really big. Let's see. The heck is it even? I wonder. Oh, he's looking at me. Haha, okay. I didn't get a picture of him looking at me. But I got pictures. So. Messing with that so much, it made my contacts go blurry. It's like, fuck, I can't see anything now. And this is my last set, so I need to get on, having more before I rip one or something, because then I'm going to be, like, really pissed. But I know it's a thing that I got to do, so I need to do that. Yeah, what the hell is that, dude? I really want to know what kind of bird this is now. Anyway, it's got a little pointy beak. I saw that from the picture. But yeah, family drama. Ugh. But I was just, I don't know. I feel like, and I pulled some cards yesterday, and that might be a freaking hawk of some sort too. Because his belly was like brown and white. Yeah, I don't know. If I would have known he was going to jump out of the tree just then I would have tried to get him again, but no. Gone now. Yeah, like I pulled these two cards from this Sacred Medicine Oracle deck. Holy crap, I can talk. And like the first one had to do with balance and, being connected to both the heavens and the earth. And, making sure you're paying attention to both. Ground yourself back to the earth periodically. It's okay to check out and wander off in the other realms from time to time, but you have to remember you're still on earth. Yeah, so don't forget that piece. And then like the last one was like a card I don't think I've ever pulled before, and it was Drum Medicine. And it was also talking about balance. It's like, well, holy shit. There's like the first one and the last one both talking about balance. It's like, okay, well, maybe I'd catch myself better if I was more mindful of that end, and making that more of a priority, I guess. I don't know. But I have to figure that out either way, because that is not going to work for me to just get pulled into the other side of the shit now. I gotta figure out how to maintain the balance in between. And hey, right there! balance. Yeah. So, what else was there? Kind of getting cold again. I skated. Oh, my car's not. There we go. It didn't want to work. So I skated, and I think it said it was like 43 degrees, but then the real feel was like 29. But yeah, that's kind of annoying. To cook myself in the shower again. Oh, that's the thing. So I've been thinking a lot. It's like, I want to go to this class tomorrow. And it's $11. It's no big deal. But it's like, my income went out a lot faster than I was expecting last week, because I ended up on a Sam's Club run, and then I got distracted with some things that I wanted to munch, and then I got spent more than I intended to. And yeah, so it's like, I'd really like to go to class, but my $8 in the bank isn't going to get me there. And today I got a text message. I was thinking about it. Okay, I also have this deal where, okay, I've talked about the Christian CDs that have been in the back of this thing for like a few months now. And basically they made it into the car because somebody wanted to see how much it would cost for me to ship them like an hour away or an hour and a half away. It's like, I know you're not going to want to do it, but I will humor you nonetheless. And it was like starting at $33 to ship them. Obviously, she did not want to do that. Even though it's like 40 plus, like there's over 40 CDs. Some of them are brand new. Some of them I listen to them so much that they are a little scratched up, but they still play. Anyway, they've been posted for a while. There's been a few people that have kind of been interested, but not hugely interested. The most interest was somebody he's in Lafayette, and he said, "Are you ever in Lafayette?" And I was like, "Never." And he said that was the same with him in Indy. It's like, okay. It's like, I have no problem meeting somebody somewhere, as long as it's not going way out of my way and it's somehow worth my while. This guy, I left his messenger thing up in the marketplace chat because I figured, I was talking to my one friend that lived in Kokomo, and she mentioned at some point we should go over there and skate at some point. So it came up as a possibility. Well, then there was that thing where some girl asked me about the tank, and it's like, well, about the dragon tank that I had, and where she was at, it's like, okay, well, I mean, it would be basically make a day of it anyway, because it'd be like an hour and a half to 2 hours to get to where she was, and it's like, well, I still have to go get my ceramic elephant that I painted from Kokomo, and hey, that goes right past Lafayette. So I sent him a message, was like, maybe. And asked him if he was still interested, and he said he was still interested, but then that whole thing fell through because somebody else bought it, and that was fine. But then okay, so I still have to go to Kokomo to get my elephant. So that's the thing. So I sent this guy a message the other day. It's like, okay, are you ever in Kokomo? And he's like, not much, but more so than Indy. It's like, well, I have need for going there. I just have to make sure the shop is open on the day that I go, right? And, you know, since the one girl and I aren't apparently talking anymore, which is fine, you know. And interestingly, the other girl only said something like one time to me since then. I would be surprised if she's talked to the other girl very much, if at all. But the other girl's like fallen off the face of the planet as far as if I do or say anything on Facebook or whatever. She hasn't said anything to me. I also haven't said anything to her. But I also talked on here before about how I feel like she was trying to... I feel like the whole situation that came up with her was because she was trying to throw in the self-fulfilling prophecy thing of, you know, proving to herself that she's not able to maintain friendships. And since I was coming around periodically, it was serving up some dissonance for that point in her head, right? So she has this story that she's telling herself about she can't keep friends, and then I'm still coming around. So, I mean, I've done it before where it's just kind of a natural response to somehow push them back out, right? So you can prove the story to yourself and that, you know, you're not, you know, this is just how things are. You just can't keep friendships or whatever. And I'm looking at it from the standpoint of, I feel like, especially right now, and I think there's like some astrological things playing into it as well, that there is a big push to disconnect from the relationships that aren't serving you, you know. And of course there's everything with my parents, and, you know, I've talked a lot on here about I'm ready for something else. It's like, let's go have life elsewhere because this sucks. I don't want to do it anymore, you know. And then I think this whole point with my brother as well, it's like I love my brother to death, but I don't want to do the shit for him that I was doing for my parents before and just wasn't making the connections on. So that's no more of that. Anyway. So I know that, you know, this guy, I think the ask price on the CDs, it's like over 40 of them, and I've thrown in some like other miscellaneous shit that I don't want anymore. Like I have one of those CD envelope things that or cases that has stickers on it that were like Christian stickers and stuff. It's like, well, I don't need that anymore. Hey, whoever gets these CDs might want it. I don't know. And there's like a few things that once I realized that using these stupid CD cases was scratching my CDs, I burned copies of some of the CDs, or like I picked songs off of the different CDs that I listened to the most, and I like put them on CDs that way, like blank ones, and was listening to them that way. So I bought the copies. I had the actual copy of the actual CD. I just was tired of scratching my shit up. So I made these others. And so those are in there. And it's like there's not a huge amount of them, but most of them. You know, and then some that I got off or bought offline and all that fun stuff. So, threw those in. Some like weird, posters from like the Passion of the Christ or whatever, and whatever. I don't, like, they weren't huge, but they're probably 11 by 16, but I don't want them, so hey, get them out of my space. I had them up once in the dorm days, I did, but yeah, don't have that need for that anymore. So yeah. So we are, like, I'm talking to this guy about trying to figure out a time to get up there. He said he is pretty flexible as long as he doesn't have a doctor's appointment that day. And I mentioned Thursday, and he said that he has 2 appointments that day. It's like, well, that's not helpful. So I asked about Friday, and I just saw he sent me a message a few minutes ago about what time would it be, and it's like, well, I'll get back to that when I'm not doing this. So it's like there's this thing where I could get $30, but at the same time, I mean, it's not going to be here before tomorrow night's class. Haha, I did remember the point of that whole story. But anyway, so I was trying to figure that out, and then I think yesterday I just kind of let go of it. It's like, all right, if I don't end up going, oh well. And then today I got a text message from my dad when he's over at my grandma's house because he dumped a 44-ounce Diet Coke on the floor, and could I come over with the carpet cleaner? And so I went over there with the carpet cleaner, and hey, I got $20. So now I can go to class. So that's fun. Yeah. And I'll still figure out the thing with the other guy. See, the biggest thing on that end is I just got to make sure the shop's open. I think the day they're closed is Monday, and on Sunday they're only open from like 12 to 5, so I wouldn't want to do that. But you know, he's buying a bunch of Christian CDs. I'm sure he goes to church pretty regularly. When I checked his profile to make sure he was an actual human, he, you know, lots of pro-Jesus things on there. So yeah, I'm going to say he probably goes to church and wouldn't want to meet up that day anyway, because I don't know how far Kokomo is from Lafayette, but it's a little bit of a drive. So yeah. And I'm going to turn that up because I'm cold. Or my hand is cold. Like my pinky and my ring finger are like really the only ones that are really cold. But yeah, all the same. Yeah. So I remembered that point. I had this moment last night. Okay, it was when I was talking to my mom. And I think part of it was because I would put my... Like, I would click into my video, and then she would come back, and so I would, like, shut it back off, you know, so I kept, like, bumping it along every time I was disrupted by something. And by the time I was done with it, and I think partly because of, like, her energy in general, when I was watching the video back, like, I started getting really nervous. It's like, oh, do I want to post this? I don't know that I want to post this. And then so, like, I started stressing out over stupid shit. And it was funny because I pulled a couple cards from the Mystical Shaman Oracle. I don't know. It's the big one. I think it's Mystical Shaman. I'll get back to you. I'll put it in the description, of course. The 2 cards I pulled, one was arrow and the other was soul retrieval. And the arrow card was talking about, you're gonna hit your mark, just keep going. And it's like, stop trying to aim for perfection, just keep going, right? And I don't remember what all soul retrieval said, but there was something in it as I was reading through it that was like that same keep going idea. And maybe I'll summarize those in the description as well. But basically I got both of those cards, and it's like, whew, sigh of relief. And then of course 6:14 and 44 degrees, and there was 44 seconds on my clock when I saw that, or when I said that. So yeah, fours. But anyway, like, after I got the cards, you know, because as I was feeling my anxiety starting to grow, then I was like, I can't do this. It's like, all right, show me what I need to know in this moment and help me release this. It's like, I feel like it shouldn't be a problem to post it, but at the same time, for whatever reason, I'm feeling the anxiety again, and I don't like that. And so, you know, I got those cards, and then all was well. I went ahead and posted it anyway, and I rewatched it after I posted it, and when I watched it with only like 1 interruption instead of like 20, I was like, oh, this is fine. What was that even about? You know, but for some reason I feel like it was that whole worthiness wound somehow coming back up to be dealt with again. So yeah. Kind of getting hungry. 44 minutes on my clock. And like there's a whole spiel I was thinking about talking about on here this morning. It's like I don't feel like I'm there right now. Not that I am not going to talk about it, because I definitely will. I just don't know that I want to right this second. Mainly because it's already 45 minutes in, and at some point I want to go home and eat because I'm hungry. Yeah. What if it was a falcon? I'm going to be thinking about that bird forever, y'all. Really want to know what's like. I saw what its belly looked like. It was like brown and white, and it looked like a blue-gray kind of color almost. It was huge, so it was like, yeah, I'll have to check. And maybe if I figure it out, then I'll mention that in the description as well, or just talk about it in tomorrow's video. Who knows? Yeah. Oh, but I think whenever I do go to Kokomo, so it's like I'm not going to be doing anything there like I was before, because the one night we went to the ceramics place and painted these things. The other night, well, there were 2 nights that I've been up there to go skating. And obviously I'm not going to be skating up there, since, I mean, I could go skate by myself if I wanted to, but I don't know the area that well. Yeah, whatever. So I just want to go get my elephant. And maybe stop at the burger place. The, what is it called? Coterie or something. I don't know, but they got really good food. And they make fun of themselves, so that's always cool. But I was kind of thinking I'd stop there. It's like, hey, get $30 out of these CDs, go buy myself dinner. Yeah, I probably will. I got paid Friday anyway, so. That's the thing. If I get paid on Friday and sell these things on Friday, then it'll be there anyway, right? Well, I do have to keep in mind I have a hair appointment next week that I gotta also take my grandma to. Thanks to that fine timing. Again, it'll be fine. Probably go for lunch afterwards, I'm sure, since we'll be out and about. Yeah. Oh, but I was thinking about, even if I go to the restaurant, I can do that. Taking my dogs with me, because, hey, they'll just be hanging out otherwise, so why not just throw them in the car and go for a drive? And then when I get back and I'm tired because I've been driving all day, then they can be tired too because they were riding all day. And they'll probably sleep most of it anyway, so yeah. Well, looks like we're getting ready to have some kind of event over here. People pulling in the parking lot. What's it, Tuesday? Yeah, probably. I don't know what it is. Probably basketball or something. Gym bags. Going to the gym. Yeah. Of course, we'd show up over here with our percussion equipment when I was doing winter percussion. We'd load it up, haul it over, and practice in the gymnasium. That was the first few times I was ever in this place was for drumline practice, because it hadn't existed before then. Alright, yeah, I'm gonna wrap it up and go home and figure out what the bird was, maybe. And yeah, that's it. Alright, as always, I appreciate you. Until the next time, see ya.